Dampness, it might be a little bit more one-lined than usual. It is a fast track, normally with good passing lines. Jimmy Button just to the right of John Dowd. Let's see who gets the whole shot. Pro Circuit teammate of RC's, Casey Johnson, getting an outstanding start once again. RC is right there. Michael Brown, Curry, and Parolio, and we've got a smash up in the first turn. That's Robbie Horton, number 68, picking his bike up. Deegan's behind him, and Stefan Roncada, Honda of Troy, off to the left.
He never has any luck the first couple laps of the race. Look at this duel, side by side off the ski jump.
Ricky Carmichael simply out-jumping his teammate Casey Johnson, David.
And wide open all the way down that straightaway. The fastest section on this entire course, which leads right into some of the switchbacks. And that's where it starts to get one line. Those one-line sections we talked about are going to happen all through the tight corners while that mud gets pushed to the outside.
Carmichael with 3 overall wins in the previous 5 events, leaving nothing to chance, getting into the lead right now. As Davey Combs is over with his mechanic, Chad Watts.
Chad, before the race, Ricky said he really wasn't thinking about that 1 point, but it looks like he's giving 100%. You think that deep in his mind he was thinking, hey, I can get the points lead right now?
It's too early in the season to worry about a point, much less 1 point. As long as he rides this race and don't worry about the championship and goes moto by moto, race by race, if it's going to come, it'll come to us.
Are you going to tell him where Dowd is throughout the day?
Nope. I'm going to tell him how far distance he has between seconds and his lap times, and just race the track.
David Bailey, he forces himself to ignore that points race. He's in first place right now. John Dowd back in 4th place, just got around Sean Parolio.
Well, you can bet that RC knows exactly what's happening with the points, and it's on his mind, but the strategy that he's going to focus on and try to get us to believe is that he's not worried about it.
Taking the outside course around those wet puddles where it's been watered down.
Yeah, this place is notorious for watering the track a little bit too much in practice. You get the guys, they say practice is now open and no one goes out. No one wants to go out and ride through all that stuff. You see right there, getting it all sideways. But after he gets through the first lap, though, 39 other guys right behind him have come through and worked it in pretty good. So that next lap, the berms and some of that mud will be pushed out of the way. The track will be a lot faster.
Ricky Carmichael is our leader, and he's not really getting a challenge right now. Can he hold on? Once he's won the first moto, he's swept the events this year. AMA National Motocross is being brought to you by Honda, maker of the world's most powerful custom motorcycle, the Valkyrie, and by the new line of Mazda B-Series trucks. Mazda, get in, be moved. 125 action opening moto. Ricky Carmichael from Buchanan, Michigan is our leader, but Mike Brown of Honda of Troy, coming off one of his finest hours of racing at Budds Creek in the last race, got by Casey Johnson, so number 100 on the red bike is now in 2nd place. Parolio moves up to 3rd. Jason McCormick, one of his finest performances, but look at that. David Bailey, John Dowd in 5th place.
What he has right here, Art, is the points lead's in jeopardy. Carmichael's gone. We're going to put the Suzuki stopwatch on him and get the difference. 4 seconds back to Mike Brown. They're already pulling away from the pack. Now, Dowd typically rides a little slower in the beginning of the race. He comes on strong at the end, but if you give Carmichael that big of a lead, forget it. He's going to need a 250 to catch back up.
14 seconds in back of the leader is John Dowd. He's got a lot of time, though, but he's got Parolio 41, and he's got McCormick 32 in front of him. And they might not be that easy to get around if they run as a pack like that.
Now, these are kids. They want to win bad. Dowd's already won a championship in the 125 Supercross. He won this race last year. These guys are hungry for a win. They're going to do whatever it takes to pass what a lot of people are starting to call that old man.
Both those riders have had really sorry times of it earlier in the season. Parolio, 19th in the 2nd race, no points again in the 3rd, 22nd in the 4th, 17th at Budds Creek. And McCormick has had some crash problems this year.
I don't think Dowd's concerned with passing these guys back, getting around them, working his way up into 2nd place. He's got so much more experience. I mean, with that age comes a lot of knowledge of how to get around a motocross track fast, how to win a championship. The problem is the guy he's dicing with for the title is Carmichael, and he can't even see him anymore.
McCormick making the move. So McCormick gets by Parolio, and now Dowd has to deal with Parolio. Oh, McCormick, his best finish this year overall was a 13th. He's looking terrific right now. Here comes Dowdy. Dowdy making the move on Parolio. And Parolio fighting back, but John Dowd now moves up one notch with McCormick in front of him.
Dowd just had a much better angle. They're going through a new section right here. They've taken out that corkscrew downhill, and they lead him right into this big plateau out to the front with a little bit more speed. Opened up the passing lanes a little bit more.
So on our leaderboard, it's Carmichael, Brown, McCormick, Dowd moving up to fourth with Parolio rounding out the top five. Dowdy looking to the inside against McCormick, who's going to the outside line.
Just trying to take a different line, stay out of that roost. Also keep McCormick guessing a little bit. When you get somebody catching you from behind, you see them on the inside, you hear them over on the outside, you start changing your race a little bit to counter what they're doing, and that always plays into the favor of the guy behind.
Dowd seems to be taking the opposite line every time as he chases down McCormick. Let's go down to Davey Combs.
Brian, looks like the same thing for John. He didn't get off the gate with Ricky. How can he change that in the second moto?
Well, he actually got a kind of a lousy jump that time, so he's got to work on his jump. Right now, he was fourth and trying to pass Casey Johnson. I guess they came together down there, so that's why he's a little farther back right now. But we'll change some things for the next moto.
How are our lap times right now compared to Carmichael's? Is he right with them?
It's a little bit off the pace right now, but the last few laps has been right behind McCormick, so we haven't had a free lap yet to figure it out.
Thanks, Brian.
So David Bailey, Brian Berry answering one question for us. What happened to John Dowd and also Casey Johnson, which was out of our view. So Dowdy going after McCormick right now.
You can see John is very aggressive. He's trying everything he can. You can tell from his body English, he's not holding back at all. He knows this is important. He's got to get up there and run with Carmichael. At least try to get somewhere in Carmichael's rearview mirror and make him nervous a little bit. Hopefully just pray for a mistake before this is over with, because he's got to come back in the second moto and beat him to maintain that points lead.
Dowd's timing looking a little better as the race goes on now. Looking like he feels more comfortable.
Once again, not following, and the lap times are a little bit off the pace. It's easy to understand the way Brian pointed out. He's been behind McCormick and has choose a different line or a slower line everywhere.
When will Dowd make his move? We'll find out in a moment. Welcome back to Red Bud Track and Trail in Buchanan, Michigan. This is the battle in the 125's first moto. For third place, John Dowd, number 9, to the inside on Jason McCormick, number 32.
Like McCormick didn't really have an answer for that. He came in on the outside, couldn't hold it tight. Just had to give it up. And I'll tell you what, in the back of my mind as a privateer, in McCormick's position, I'd have been thinking, you know, third ain't bad. I can't hold up the pressure Dowd's putting on me, so I'll just try to learn from him. Kind of what it looked like to me. You can see him getting a little fishtail on the outside. Dowd with a great line up the inside.
McCormick in his first year ride with FMF, the support Honda team. Really trying to impress after a very poor start of the motocross season. He's got 6 more races after this one to prove he belongs with that support team.
Well, you kind of work your way up the ladder in small increments. You know, if you try to bite off more than you can chew, you end up not finishing at all or finishing out of the top 20 by crashing and riding over your head. And right here, Dowd's putting a lot of pressure on him, caught him quick. He's figuring, I'm just going out on a limb here and figuring maybe he's just being a little bit more conservative here and trying to make sure he gets a good top 5 finish and improve on that.
We saw Casey Johnson on the pro circuit, Kawasaki, just barely get into our picture. He's fighting back after that earlier collision and dropping back, but out in front, Ricky Carmichael, after flirting a little bit with Mike Brown in second place, he's just taken away from it.
Once he finds his groove, forget it. He's been the fastest guy on the racetrack for the past couple of years. And it looks like he's found that pace once again. Like I said, the first couple of laps, they watered the track so much in spots to keep the dust down that he had to be a little bit more conservative and make sure he didn't go down in some spot where it was very slick. This corner right here was just a ice skating rink that first lap. As soon as he started feeling more comfortable, Brown couldn't keep up.
Casey Johnson starts to attack Jason McCormick now. Johnson third in the points. is looking to take over fourth place. Johnson cutting it hard to the inside. McCormick out of the Pacific Northwest looks back at Casey from California. Says, hey, wait a minute. I don't want to give it away that easy.
Casey has been riding good. Had to give him a little confidence in Bud's Creek to get up there and run up front with his teammate for a little while. If they hadn't been for a little crash in second moto, he'd have had a much better finish. But starting to ride much better in the outdoors. You see the confidence.
He has fourth place overall finishes in 3 of the last 4 events. And you said take it a bit at a time. Casey'd love to move it up to that 3rd spot, I'm sure.
Well, I think he's feeling like he's in the driver's seat right now. Long ways up to the next position, but I think he knows that he was able to catch McCormick pretty quickly and keep the pressure on him, and that's just going to eventually wear him out.
Casey Johnson especially looking good after having such a severe injury that happened during practice on Thanksgiving Day during the Supercross season. Casey Johnson has come back. Casey Johnson to the inside on McCormick. Takes over another spot. He's got a ways to go before catching Dowd.
Well, it may be a distant 4th right now, but after having those problems with Dowd and those guys getting together, he's worked his way back up to the spot. And although it's pretty far behind, he's got to look at his lap times between motos and know that other than Carmichael way out in front, his lap times are pretty compatible with those of Dowd and Brown. Focus on that second moto. Try not to make that mistake early on.
Out in front, Ricky Carmichael. Carmichael did not win this event last year. Kevin Windham came through. It was a neat little story, wasn't it, David?
Found a necklace. Seemed to be giving him a lot of luck, and he's been wearing it ever since.
We'll see Kevin Windham coming up in the 250s a little bit later on. But right now, this is Moto number 1 of the 125s from Redbud Track and Trail. In second place, number 100, Honda of Troy, Mike Brown. Brown has just been running excellent lately. In second place, Brown looking smooth. He's got it all together. And let's go down to the mechanics area to Davey Coombs.
Dean, I know it's early today, but Mike seems to be on a hot streak. This is the 3rd time in a row we've seen him right up front. What changed in him the last couple weeks?
Mainly, he's just been more focused, I think, since Mount Morris. We had some bad luck at Southwick, but that wasn't really his fault. And I think he's been concentrating a lot on starts, and that makes keeping up with Carmichael a lot easier. He's not so much concerned with Carmichael's speed. It's just being relaxed, being up front. You just got to get used to that.
Michael Brown, obviously in tremendous physical shape, is now putting that conditioning on the track, resulting in fine finishes. I'll never forget back in Washougal, Washington. Well, here it is. We flash back to the race in Washougal, which was his very first AMA national win. But that wasn't the only event of the day. His mechanic, Jeff Nutter, a longtime veteran in the motocross scene, lost a bet to Mike Brown. And Mike was able to, as you see, eliminate all facial hair on Jeff Nutter. Many have never seen Jeff Nutter without his beard. A fun time had by all in the most unusual victory celebration. Mike Brown, his first season after coming back from Europe in the GP rounds last year. Of course, your motos are a lot longer over in Europe, David.
Well, Mike talked about when he came back and raced that 125 National in Unadilla, how the motos here were like, a yawner. It just went by so quick. Fitness has never been a problem for him. He's in excellent physical shape.
You just mentioned Unadilla. That's coming up next on our Futures. AMA Motocross is being brought to you by Motorcycle Mechanics Institute, quality training for the motorcycle industry. A sun-baked crowd here in Buchanan, Michigan. Redbud Track and Trail. Ricky Carmichael, a big lead out in front in our first 125 moto. You saw Mike Brown go by in second place. John Dowd, who coming into this race had only a 1-point lead in the points race, will lose that unless something drastic happens.
They're all very spread out right now. Dowd is riding a fast pace, so is Brown, but Carmichael just put it out of reach in those first 5-10 minutes. Right now, I bet you they're selling a lot of T-shirts because it doesn't look like anything's going to happen up front.
And from the looks of the crowd, some people need T-shirts. They're getting a little sunburned out there. John Dowd in third place, though Wood set himself up with a good position overall by holding on to third. Question now is, does he have time to catch Mike Brown in second place?
Every point's going to matter, especially coming down to a championship series. Getting around Brown, this moto could make the difference at the end of the year. Also set him up for an overall position today. If he can get that second moto win, he'd get the overall over Carmichael should he finish second to him.
Jason McCormick, number 32, on his way to his best moto finish of the season in 5th place. This is Perolio, number 41.
These guys got a great battle going on. Way off the pace. Still, these guys are locked in a battle amongst themselves. Perolio leading that freight train. These guys heading up to the ski jump. First time I ever came to Redbud and saw that. Pretty exciting. It's one of the only ones of the season. Actually, there's one kind of like it in Washougal, but this one's a little bit bigger drop. It's pretty interesting, too, because it's right off the start. You're still all bunched up, and the ground just falls away from you. Those guys are flying about 85, 90 feet down that hill.
Number 35 is Nathan Ramsey on the chase. And then number 36 is Brock Sellards. All behind number 41, Perolio. 14, Scott Sheik.
Whenever I got a bad start and I see a big pack of riders like this, I'd start to get excited. I knew if I played my cards right and worked my way through and pick up 4 or 5 positions, a lot better moto finish if you can get around all those guys. Sheik needs something. He needs to get his confidence going.
Yeah, he does. You thought maybe that third place in Southwick with a 4-5 finish might have motivated him to step up a notch or two, but then he came back with a 13th and a 19th place moto at Budds Creek.
We picked up one spot there in this new section. That's very technical. They come down, they got a rear loft camber, then they ride up over the top of the up under the grass section. They left that alone pretty natural like they would in Europe. Didn't disc it up and groom it. Just run the banners through there and say, this is where you're going to go. You figure it out.
Whoa, look at the roost as they hit those tight corners. They feel that Scott Sheik is riding his way back into physical shape, but what they're really worried about is his mental condition. He doesn't approach the track as aggressive as he used to. It's understandable when you get a severe injury like an Achilles heel.
Well, he just did a little dance right there, come out of this corner. This is what happens when you're a little bit out of sync. Whoa! Did a good job to save it, but he's just not riding to the same level that he was, obviously, before he got hurt, and it's tough to get that back. I mean, even if you didn't have an injury, Art, you stopped riding for a while and tried to come back, you'd find out it's very tough. Look at what happened to Damon Bradshaw. He tried to come back, and it took everything he had to try to win a national. And in doing so, he even had some people saying, well, yeah, that's just because it was muddy. It's very difficult to get that rhythm back, and he's out there trying. FMF's giving him a shot at it. Right here, he's got an opportunity to work his way into 7th before the moto's in, so start's going to play a big role. I haven't seen him up front in the beginning, and that really hurts, especially in the 125 class. It's almost impossible to make up that much time with a bad start.
Nathan Ramsey on the Kawasaki showing a wheel to Perolio on the Suzuki. That's Ramsey, number 35, as they come over the big jump. And they start to spread out just a little bit after Ramsey's move.
It's the fastest straightaway into the biggest, fastest sweeper on the course. Then down this hill, file into those sharp corners. Those berms get so deep, you start to drag the foot pegs, the brake. These guys will run through there and pick up a big pack of mud into the shift lever and the brake pedal, and you got to kick that out. That's when they ride the front wheel a little bit high on the berm and try to get more clearance to the center of the engine cases and the brake pedal.
Oh, Mike Brown went down. You saw him skidding, getting back onto the track. Mike Brown, second place, is now back in third. So that was the break that John Dowd was looking for as far as enough time to catch second place. Mike Brown helped him out, and we're now on the white flag lap, final lap. This guy could crawl around the track and still win the moto. Ricky Carmichael. What a great job he's done. Looks back to make double sure that his competition isn't coming up on him. And now you look for his favorite fan.
Well, he's coming up to the fans' favorite jump out here, that big ski jump. He's still so clean, he can use the same clothes the next moto.
Ricky Carmichael, who swept the opener at Glen Helen. He swept Mount Morris and took Budds Creek with a 1-1 as well. The only moto win he's had in a non-sweep performance this year was the second one of the year at Hangtown Classic, when he got an 8th place in the first moto, came back to win the second for a 3rd overall.
That was still a spectacular result in both motos there, because he took that tumble right off the start in that first moto, got up, and he was way off the pace. Still worked his way all the way up.
The total frustration, too, David, of Southwick in the mechanical in the first moto, coming back for a 2nd place in the second moto.
It's a good team, though, he and Chad. They realize what it takes to win the championship, and they're not going to let that get the best of him. And already he's back in a position where at the end of this moto, if things stay the way they are, he'll already have the points lead again. So they probably figure they've gotten their bad luck out of the way, and it's going to be easy street from here on out.
Dowd in 2nd place if Carmichael holds on to this victory then, as he tries to make his way through those deep ruts that David was just talking about. He will have a 2-point lead in the points race.
He keeps looking over to see where the 2nd place is. Probably anxious to see if it's Dowd or still Mike Brown. I'd be a little disappointed to see that Brown made a mistake and Dowd has now inherited that spot. That'll be only a 3-point game instead of a 5-point game.
Ricky Carmichael with once a double-digit lead as far as seconds ahead of 2nd place. Probably will win this by 8 or 9 seconds after cruising. The fans, of course, really appreciative of this young man's effort. The checkers for Ricky Carmichael, his 8th moto win in 11 tries. And look at the distance. We go back to John Dowd. Right there, coming across in 2nd place, Mike Brown nailing down a 3rd, so he's still riding well. Johnson in 4th, and McCormick rounding out the top 5.